Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Destiny. And tonight I have with me, this is the first time I can honestly say I've been doing this for 2 years now. Started out with just trying to get some mothers together to talk about motherhood and whatever to honor my mom. And then when that month was over, someone said to me, well, you should keep doing this because you're pretty good at it. I'm like, are you kidding me? But anyway, so here we are 2 years later with the Let's Talk Destiny podcast. And for the very first time, I am excited to have with me a real life comedian. People are always telling me, you need to do stand up because you're hilarious. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I don't even think what I'm saying is funny, but they think it's funny. But anyway, tonight I am so blessed to have with me um, comedian Crystal P. And let me fix this so we can share it to our friends. And Crystal is, her bio made me smile because it starts out by saying that she possesses the ingredients to create a special recipe for entertaining others. And let's just be real about it. With everything that's going on in the world today, with everything that's going on even in our personal lives, we all need somebody that can make us smile, make us laugh, entertain us, take us away from the drama for a bit. She bakes up something sweet every time she hits the stage while feeding the funny bones of many with her in your face recipe for comedy, made up of quick wit, boldness, truth, and a story to tell. Crystal P has opened for Diana Ross, Steve Harvey, Stephanie Mills, The Whisperers, The OJs, Marvin Sapp, CC Winans, and many, many more. She has appeared on Showtime at the Apollo, Last Comedian Standing, America's Got Talent, and several stage productions, movies, and other entertainment events. When the audience hungers for laughter and entertainment, Crystal P is there to satisfy their appetites. So tonight, just make sure that your health insurance is paid up, as Crystal P will not be responsible for the stitches you will be in. Now, isn't that something to look forward to? Lord knows. So tonight, I want to first, I want to thank you so much for agreeing to join me tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Hello, everybody out there in they say now cyberland.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. So, Crystal, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you where were you born and raised? Are you married? Do you have children? What are some of your hobbies? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Crystal P. I live outside of the Detroit area. I was born and raised from a place called Royal Oak Township. Now that's not to be confused with the city of Royal Oak. It's two different media incomes. So I was raised in Royal Oak Township, which is the poorest city in the state of Michigan, and went to Oak Park schools and have always wanted to be in entertainment, even as a child. I am currently married. I my husband, as I call him, and then I have two daughters. They're grown, 29 and 26. I actually started in comedy when they were little, almost 20 years
Wow.
ago. So they were just almost 6 years old and 9 years old. And
Wow.
I'll be celebrating 20 years in comedy next year, 2024, as year number 20.
Awesome. Powerful, powerful. Now, how or why did you become interested in doing comedy?
Well, as I mentioned, I've always wanted to be in entertainment. I was one of those kids that had to be seen and heard. We grew up, or at least I did, where children weren't supposed to be seen and heard. And I was
That's
that
right.
one child that always was in the mix of something and sitting there entertaining the adults and like the good ship lollipop, the little kid. I just was anything to be in the mix. I was gonna do. I
Yeah.
always watched a lot of sitcoms growing up and would mimic the lines because I wanted to be. I just wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to do comedy,
Wow.
be an actress. So I would watch like D. Thomas on What's Happening or Penny or
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody watched the Jeffersons, Different Strokes, all the sitcoms, and anything that was funny to me. I just always wanted to make people laugh, and of course, I was the class clown coming up through school. And but I did grow up in a household where you went to school. After school, you graduated, then you went off to college, you graduate, you get a job, and you move on your own and do your own thing.
Yeah.
So the art wasn't really pushed. Um, even though later I finally got my degree, and it took me so long to get my degree, I thought I was gonna get Social Security first. Like they were running neck and neck. But I finally I was a police reserve for the Detroit police, and I had been
Okay.
involved in a shooting.
Wow.
And I had that kind of epiphany where your life flashes before you, and just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do what I want to do before I leave this earth." And so I wanted to do
Yeah.
stand up. I told my best friend about it, and she said, "I don't know what took you so long. Like this is something you should have always been doing." And I
Wow.
saw a audition for NBC. I can't remember it. It was
Okay.
Stand Up for Diversity. And so I went
Okay.
all the way out to LA. I wanted to audition for Stand Up for Diversity. Had no money, like literally had no money. And I knew my dad wasn't about to pay for pipe dreams. But my best friend, she was like, ask him, ask him. And so I finally got up enough nerve to ask. And he um, paid for the flight. And he said, you're on your own
Wow.
for everything else. And I was a young parent and struggling, and had my little $100. And that had to take care of my
Yeah.
car, gas, food, back and forth from the airport. However, whatever I needed to do, I was on my own. And thankfully, at the time, my first husband, he had family that lived there, and his cousin, they let me stay at their home, so I didn't have to worry about a hotel. And they fed me, so all I had to worry about was that rental car and gas. And I'll never forget that rental car was like about $60 because LA
Wow.
is really expensive, and just enough to put gas in it and get it back
Yeah.
and come on home. I didn't make it on the show, but I met so many great people. But being on the stage, they actually had the auditions at the Laugh Factory, which is one of the big LA clubs. It just felt right.
Right. I've heard of
Being
it.
on that stage, I was like, it's something here.
Wow.
And then I just came back to Detroit area and trying to do open mics and find where can I get on stage. And a lot of people wouldn't hire me because I
Yeah.
didn't curse on stage. So I was kind of shunned a little bit by
Right.
my
Right.
people.
Right.
And but Caucasian people would hire me. And I was working on Caucasian clubs, and
Yeah.
but I was
Yeah.
still doing clean comedy. I always set out to do clean comedy because I didn't want to bring shame. Like I said, I came from a different time. My parents had me late in life. So I couldn't just,
Yes.
you know, be out there saying and doing everything on
Yeah.
stage in front, so I
Right.
just didn't
Right.
want to bring shame. And that's kind of how it started with the with me doing clean comedy. But I wanted to be clean, but I wanted to have the same fire and punch as anybody that was cursing. Like I wanted people
Yes.
to look at
Yes.
me and not even
Yes.
realize like, oh, they watched the whole set and like she didn't even curse like after the fact, or they're just sitting there
Yeah.
puzzled.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So that was my goal, and I've been
Right.
doing clean
Right.
comedy, like I said, for
Wow.
almost 20 years. I do Christian comedy and clean comedy. So I still will work a club here and there, but I do a lot more churches, private events, corporate events,
Yeah.
things of that nature, birthday parties, retirements, all kinds of stuff, even funerals.
Wow.
I've done several funerals.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are dying to hear me. So I
What?
just, yeah, people very the very first
Yeah.
one I did was back in 2009. And somebody that used to listen to me on the
Wow.
radio, she said, I want you, she saw me. I came just to pay my respects. And when she saw me, she was like, can you please get up there and do comedy? At the funeral next to the casket. Like, what do I say? And I didn't know her husband. So I'm reading through the obituary, just trying to come up with some jokes. And I went up there and did it. One thing about me, if people
That is
approach
funny.
me at a funeral, I never want to tell people no. I've had people, can you sing? The singer didn't show up. Can you read? Can you do? So I'm just like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the stand-in or the standby and understudy or whatever for people that don't show up, and I just fill in wherever is needed because I don't, you're already grieving, so you don't want to tell anybody, no, I can't do that. And so I just do.
That's funny.
And thank God it
Wow.
works. But yeah, it's been a journey.
It works. I love it. So I can imagine. So let me ask you this. Okay, so as I mentioned before, ever since I can remember, people have been saying to me, "Girl, you should do stand up, or you missed your calling, or yada yada yada." And I'm thinking, y'all are nuts because, like, first of all, I don't think what I said was even funny. And I certainly couldn't get on stage with it because it seems to me when you get on stage, you have to have some idea what it is you're going to say. And with me, it's just like I just blurt out whatever in my head, and people happen to think it's funny. So how in the world can you come up with a set and you don't even have an idea? So what format do you use when you stand on the stage?
I do a little bit of everything. I have written material that I've written, storytelling, one-liners, or something might pop in my head at that very moment, and I'll just turn it
Mhm.
into a joke, something I see. There are some comedians that just go off the seat of their pants for their whole entire set. But I
Yeah,
always tell people because it's funny. I was on a podcast last night and was, everybody has a funny cousin, uncle, auntie, or you get to the Thanksgiving
yeah,
dinner and you always have that one relative that makes you laugh. But I tell them the difference between
yeah,
being funny and being a comedian is if you can take that situation and make it so everybody, or not just everybody, but 80-90% of the audience understands. Because you have certain things that go on in your family that the family recognizes. But if you told your neighbor,
right,
if you told a coworker, it would be crickets. They wouldn't understand and they wouldn't get it because they're not in your circle. So what seems funny to the
right.
family is not going to seem funny to everybody else. So where the comedian comes in is when you can take that situation and deliver it to where everybody understands the story. You just take them on a ride, even if people
Yeah,
don't understand your background. Sometimes people grow up in the suburbs and you're
yeah,
trying to tell this story to somebody that's in the country or trying to tell somebody the story in the city and that
yeah,
doesn't live the type of life you live. But once you paint the
right.
picture, you take them on a
Yeah,
journey and they can now picture and they're on your side. Because people often wonder, well, you're in all these Caucasian clubs. When I first started, I would
yeah,
even do bars kind of like by the side of the road, and everybody is on a Harley with tattoos and leather jackets. And then I go in there and
yeah,
I've always dressed on stage. I don't wear jeans and stuff on stage. Unless it's an event where they say, okay, the theme is denim, you'll never see me on stage. I always felt that as an entertainer, I should be looking better than my
okay,
audience. So I go everywhere dressed. I always have on heels and
gotcha,
makeup and
gotcha.
stuff like that. And I would go in these bars and no black folks for miles. And you can tell when I open the door and they see me, it's like, where you go? And I would just even make jokes about that to lighten the mood. I remember one place I did is
Yeah.
about maybe 3 hours north of Detroit. So a area where you don't get any blacks. And I said, I know y'all was looking at me like, where'd she come from? And one lady yelled out, oh no, we get
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
people here all the time. I said, yeah, when they escape from the prison down the street, because most of the prisons are in these outward areas. I like, ma'am, it is trees and darkness. Ain't no black folks
Yeah.
coming around all this. And so it just kind of lightened the mood. And I would even sing Amazing
Yeah.
Grace
Yeah. Broke
in
the
the
ice.
car. Yeah, and so people would
Wow.
take that ride with me, and that's how I grew, to have a following of different nationalities and different backgrounds
Yeah.
and places and things like that because I had traveled just in Michigan. I had been to about 125 cities or more
Oh, wow.
just in the state of Michigan, and then of course other states that I've traveled to and I've performed in Bermuda, Canada, and other places.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So let me ask you this. When you take the stage and you are performing and you're giving of yourself, do you have a specific goal in mind? What is your ultimate goal with your comedy?
It's to uplift people and make people laugh, and just give them, because I do a little sarcasm or paint the story and then just like drop the bomb on you. When the
Okay, okay,
punchline
okay.
comes in, it's like, oh my goodness. But I want people to be able to forget about their troubles and their woes.
Yes,
Whether I'm doing a 30-minute set, a 45-minute set, an hour set, or however much time that I'm on that stage, whatever amount of time I am doing, I want people to be able to laugh and just release whatever is going on. People often ask me, I've had death in the family. My first husband passed away of cancer, and I lost my dad a few months ago, and I'm right on
wow,
stage. And people are like, how do you, go on stage? And I tell people, there's some people, even though I'm hurting and going through my thing, there are others that are hurting far worse than I am or experiencing situations that people don't know about. It's not like we wear like, okay, here, I'm
yeah,
suicidal or I'm grieving. And we don't wear that outwardly.
right, right,
And to be able to uplift people or, take them out of a situation where they just felt I just don't have anywhere to go and do and turn, and then they see
yeah,
you in the audience. Well, I can probably share this story. She probably won't mind. I was Vicky Winans was doing a show. She was hosting a show, and Jackie Clark Chisholm, one of the Clark sisters, she was there. She's really good friends with
uh-huh,
Vicky,
mhm,
and I knew the comedians on the show. I wasn't scheduled to perform that night, but I was going to support. And I'm
okay,
backstage hugging Vicky because Vicky, I know her pretty well, talking to everybody backstage, just kicking it. And then, I'm a person, I never meet a stranger. So if somebody is standing back there,
okay,
I'm gonna speak to them and greet them. Hey, how you doing? I might hug them. That's just me. And this goes to show you how you never know how you make an impression. So after
yes,
this show, I get an inbox some like couple weeks later, an inbox on Facebook. They said they wanted to cook for me. Now I had just met my cousin who had the same name as this person inboxing me. I thought it was my cousin that I had just met for the very first time a few months earlier. And I was like, sure,
okay,
that'd be great. And then when we met to get the food, I'm looking at this woman like, who is this? And she had two huge shopping bags. And when I say shop, I'm talking about the big paper bags like you would get from a Macy's or something, one of those types of big shopping bags full of food, shrimp and mashed potatoes and sweet cream mashed. She had a sweet potato mash and a regular mashed potato. She had broccoli, shrimp, salmon, like just tons of food. And I was so shocked. I said, well, who am I taking this food from? They're trying to poison me. I didn't know what was going on. and the food was great. And so I inboxed her back. Like, the food was awesome, but how do I know you? Like, where do I know you from? And what made you want to cook for me? And she said, I met you at a comedy show. She said, you weren't on the show.
Yeah.
She said, but you were backstage. When she said Vicky Winans, I knew what show she was talking about. I didn't remember her from the show. She said, you were so kind to me and so loving and this, that, and the third. She said, I've been homeless and I've been sleeping in my car. And whatever I said and did just put her in a different space. And to repay my kindness, she wanted to cook for me because she was a chef. She worked at a country club. And after work, she would go and sleep in her car. She would go to a hotel and shower and go back to her job. And
Wow.
sitting there, like, it still makes me tear up to this day because we don't know who would have thought, you know what I'm saying? So I always keep that in the
That's
back of
right.
my mind
That's
because you
right.
don't know what people are going through. And it's important. The older I get, the more I realize it's important to extend grace to people. And
That's
not
right.
be so quick to jump, and it's still touching me, but she cooks for me she is my chef to this day. And she does meal prep and everything for me. But and
Wow.
she's on her feet. So I want anybody to think, but she went through a period of in her life where she was homeless. And I just hearing the
Wow.
story, I was sitting on the other end in complete like when my mouth literally was on the floor. I could not believe what I was hearing. Such a kind, such a meek spirit. And even when my first husband passed away, you're not thinking, or at least I don't always. He passed shortly after midnight. And I began not calling, but texting everybody like, hey, he passed, blah, 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 blah. Not thinking, I didn't realize it's 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm just texting everybody.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
a ring at the doorbell. My doorbell rings. It's about 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm like, who coming over here? Go to the door. Look out. It's the chef. She got mop, bucket, because one
Wow.
time she had heard me talk about, I got to clean my house. I got to clean up and this, that, and third. She came over with mop, bucket, toothbrush, all kind of stuff. She said, I know you're going to have guests because, he passed and people are going to be coming through. And I wanted to make sure your house was clean. She cleaned on her knees with the toothbrush, cleaning the grout in the top.
Wow.
So, like, whatever, if I got it and she called me,
Oh,
she knows
wow.
she could, because she is just that kind of a person. Anybody that thinks that would stop and do that for you, even though they're going through their own situation, is just an amazing person. And
Yes.
so those types of things, they keep me
Yes.
going. People think, and I've done some great things and I've opened up for some great people, um, you know, but it's that kind of stuff that resonates with me.
Yes.
And because people say, oh, you're so friendly. And I'm like, well, if it wasn't for you, it would be no me. I shake hands
Right.
after
Right.
every
Right.
show. I
Right. Right.
stand there and talk to everybody, no matter where I go. And till the last person's gone, I take pictures and selfies and all kinds of stuff, because for me, there would be no me without those people that support me. And I do get
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely.
lot of support and I really, really appreciate it. Like, some people don't understand, and I just really do. And I do try to sow and just be as good a person I can. I'm not perfect. Sometimes there's some people, when I say
Yeah.
I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you.
Yeah.
But
Right. Right. Right.
I try to do right when I can. People like, oh, you want to be like Jesus? I yeah, but he had the Last Supper, and I like seconds. I just I'm never gonna be him.
Hello. I know that's right. Never go. Oh my God, that is too funny. So let me ask you this, Crystal. Can you think of one time, one experience when you as a comedian flopped on stage?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's a few times. And it's a two-way thing. This is the funny part. So there are times where we call it bomb, where you just bomb on stage or bid it. Some people say I bid it on stage. And you you really did bomb. Like there's those times, and it could be you doing the same joke and you just didn't deliver it, or you just weren't in your rhythm, or the audience that you're performing
Yeah,
for just didn't get it. So there's things that go into that. And then there are times where in your head you think it's you're bombing and the audience isn't responding, and then after the show they'll say you're the best one. Oh, you were so funny. And you start look like, were we at the same show? But some people don't
wow.
laugh aloud. There are some people that just do like
Yeah,
a they
yeah,
don't laugh real loud, and you're not going to be bowled over in your chair. They just don't, but they really do enjoy you. So the most important thing, whether you bomb literally or you think you did, is you just gotta pick yourself back up and push on to the next one. There
yeah,
are professional comedians, and I remember Charlie Murphy even saying, he funny and he's
yeah,
bomb. So there, it happens, and you gotta,
yeah,
sometimes if you wear your shoulder on, your feelings on your sleeve, you let it kind of eat you up, but you gotta just take it
yeah,
and just go and move on from it, because especially if you've been doing well at it, you just might have had an off day that day, and you just gotta not let it take you. But yeah,
yeah,
I've had
yeah.
those moments. I'm like, ooh, this wasn't the best Christmas. Yeah, yeah. So
That
it's
is
happened,
funny. Absolutely.
definitely.
So, one of the things that I want to always remind people, first of all, I keep forgetting to do this, and my sister's always fussing at me afterwards. I'd like to remind you, the audience, to go to our YouTube channel. It's Let's Talk Destiny with Jamie Green, and subscribe. As I said earlier, I've been doing this for 2 years now. So there's a lot of content over there that will really, really bless you. I'm really bad at reminding people to go subscribe. And then my feelings are hurt when nobody is subscribing. So
Subscribing.
y'all help a sister out. And just, hey,
All
go
right, go to
subscribe.
YouTube and
But
go to Let's Talk Destiny, and that's
Let's
Jamie,
Talk Destiny.
Jami,
And JAMI,
hmm
with Jamie Green. Yes, ma'am.
with an E on the end
So
of
I wanted to
green.
ask you one of the things. Yeah, E on the end of green. Yes, ma'am. One of the things I want to do, always remember, is that I want this platform to be purpose driven. I want everybody to leave this space understanding that we were all born with purpose, and your purpose is different than somebody else's. And you can't spend all your life trying to be like somebody else. You just have to be the you that you were created to be.
Yeah.
Crystal P, do you feel like you are living your life purpose right now? And if so, how do you feel like you are manifesting your life purpose?
I do feel like I'm living my purpose, and I always at the end of my when people introduce me to my show, my motto is the purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. And so I do feel
Wow.
that I'm living my purpose, but I also feel that I could do more. Um,
Yeah.
God has given me so many different talents. I do a show once a year called More Than the Eyes Can See. And I came
Wow.
up with it because I'm more than what your naked eye sees. So some people know me as the comedian, some people know me as the baker, some people know me
Mhm.
as the actress. Some people remind me that I used to do their hair back in the day. I've done so many things. I used to sew, and
Oh,
I
wow.
have all these different gifts and talents. And so with More Than Eyes Can See, I kind of bring everything, a culmination of everything to this one show. So people will get to see me do stand up, they'll get to see me sing, they'll see me playing instruments. Uh you never know where I might come up with. I might
Wow.
come out and juggle. You just don't know. But it gives people a little shock value, and it shows that I don't
Yes.
mind learning something new and stretching myself, but yet I'm still going to entertain you. So it's my show is nothing like what people are typically used to seeing, because nobody's going to do all of the
Yeah.
different things. My show that was earlier
Yeah.
this year, so the next show coming up is March 16th. Mark y'all calendars. March 16th, 2024.
Mhm.
That'll be More Than Eyes Can See, and it's going to celebrate my 20 years in entertainment. The last show was earlier this
Yes.
year, March 23rd. And so again, I did stand up, I sang, I designed my outfits. My daughter and I made all the desserts
Wow.
for the VIPs. I played the flute, I played the drums, I played the keys, I played the bass. So
Wow.
just giving people a show that they've never experienced. And my friend was like, "It is not a show; it's an experience." I said, "Okay, well, come get the experience," because nobody is doing anything like that, and or has the
I love it.
capability. So one of my husband, my current husband, his cousin, they were at the show. He was like, "Did you know you married to Prince?" Because Prince played all these different instruments and he sang and danced. So it was so funny. I I had to give the PG version of what he said and translate it. But it was, it's an
That's
amazing show.
cute.
And I had about 650 people purchase tickets. And so I hope the audience is bigger this year as well.
That's awesome. I love that. And hopefully, when my audience starts giving some monies, and we grow a little more and we have some finances, I can bring you to Maryland and then
Yes,
we can enjoy the experience as well. Yeah.
because I've been to what church was that? Um Bishop, one of the large churches in Baltimore. And I want to say, what was the gentleman that passed the oh, he was a representative. He did his funeral. Oh goodness, the name escapes me. Bishop
I know
Walter
the feeling.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Bishop Walter Thomas
Okay.
was the
Okay. Yeah.
pastor.
Yeah.
I did that church
Oh,
and got
wow.
a lot
Awesome.
of love from there. I was on the Laugh-A-Lujah
Awesome.
tour, but we did his church. So I would
Awesome.
love to come to Maryland and the DMV and all
Yeah,
that good
and
stuff.
we're down on the eastern shore. We're closer to the coast, like Ocean City, Maryland.
Mhm.
That we're close to that area, and I would love to have you. So
Yeah.
hopefully, that's one of the things I have a real issue with is uh, getting people for money, and so uh, put that on the prayer list, and because you're telling people you love them and patting them on the back and all that stuff is wonderful, but it costs money to do things, and I would love to bring your experience to our area. I also have a mother's organization, and we could sponsor you and bring you to town. So all of my audience members who are listening, and those who will be listening to the playback, we got to get some funds raised so we can bring
Yeah,
Crystal P to the area. Absolutely. Yeah.
definitely.
All
I
right.
would love to come.
I would love to have you. So, Crystal, tell us how we can contact you and connect with you.
Would definitely go to my website. If you're watching us through StreamYard or on the YouTube platform, you see it under my signature, but it's www.crystalpiscrazy.com. And you can connect to all my social media
Yes.
pages as well right through the website. Sign up for the newsletter. We don't spam you. We only send
Yes.
out information that's pertinent to upcoming shows. So definitely sign up for that. You'll know when tickets drop for more than the eyes can see, and you can be the first to get your tickets. My
Yes.
VIP always sells out because they know I do a good, not a good, a great VIP. We don't give you
Yes.
a bag of chips and some water with our label on it and call it VIP. We really do take care of our VIPs and make them special. And this show, because it's celebrating 20 years, and 20 years represents China, and I'm not talking about the country, I'm talking about the plates that you eat off of, China porcelain. We have porcelain tickets and sponsors, which is a small sponsorship ticket, because everybody can't always do a $500 package, $1,000 package, a $1,500 package. So this is like a small ticket
Yeah.
that helps with sponsoring the show in a reasonable way, and gives people front row
Awesome.
seating and that sort of thing. So I hope people will come out. Last year, or I keep saying
Uh,
last year, we're still in 2023, but the last show we had people in from
yeah.
Kentucky, Texas, Georgia, I think we have Florida, and in Canada. We have people from Canada as well. So we have
Wow.
people come in from
That's
all
awesome.
over, which is a blessing, because when somebody travels to see you, that is major. That you just have that kind of love and support. And I don't
Absolutely.
take it lightly. And the one that came in from Texas, they're coming back. Um, Another comedian friend of mine, she's real supportive. She brought the crew in from Kentucky, and I think they came in from Louisville and a couple of other places. She has a bigger group coming
Wow.
this year. People that bought 10 tickets last year, they want 20 tickets for the next show. I had
Wow.
the Deltas bought 60 tickets, and people think, and I'm not even in a sorority. I get so much love from especially the deltas and AKAs. I got a lot of friends that are AKAs and Sigma Gamma Rhos and Zetas. But the deltas, the Detroit deltas and the Southfield, they show out. They show up and show out, those alumni
Awesome.
chapters. So it's a great thing to have love from the Carrots,
Yes.
distinguished ladies. Um, the It's another group, Jack and Jill, get love from a lot of people in Jack and
Okay.
Jill as well. So I appreciate anybody
Awesome.
that purchases a ticket. I know people been asking about I'm wearing one of them. So I have my own logo. You can see that there. And it's a microphone.
Okay.
And it's
Cool.
Crystal P, but it's
Yes.
CP with the microphone. So I do
Wow.
have t-shirts that will be coming onto the
That's
website,
awesome. I love it.
both for men and women. And I have
Okay.
right now I'm wearing a dress. And at my last show, the vocalists all wore the dresses, and they cut them up and wore them in different styles. So everybody had their own unique
Oh, wow.
flavor. But yeah, we call everybody the crystal balls. So all the supporters are the crystal
That's
balls, and
awesome.
we
I love it.
appreciate them.
Absolutely. Wow, that's powerful. I want you all to make sure you go to the website, connect with Crystal P on all of her social media sites, and let's
Yes.
stay in touch. I have several friends, Facebook family members that are in the Michigan area. I want you guys
Okay.
to like make sure you support her out there,
Yes.
because
Yes.
there's not often that we connect with people that have light spirits and good spirits, and we want to promote and support as much as we can. Okay. All right, Crystal, do you have
Absolutely.
any final words that you'd like to leave with the audience tonight?
You know what? Like you said, the purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. I always tell people my favorite scripture is Proverbs 17:22. Laughter doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dryeth the bones. And we
That
don't
is
want no dry bones. So get a chuckle in your spirit, because I promise you, you are not the only one that's going through whatever
yes,
situation. And if you want to do something crazy, call me first so I can uplift you and talk you off the ledge. Yes, we want to go in
yes.
2024 with more. So I want more
All
shows,
right,
more
all right.
followers, all that good stuff. And I'm gonna change my
Absolutely.
last
Well,
name
I
to
want to tell
Green
you,
so I can make more money.
I know that's right. But I want to tell you, you have really blessed me tonight. Before we came on the air, I mentioned a couple things to you that I'm dealing with here. And you absolutely have blessed me and lifted my spirit. And I'm so grateful that you took time to join me tonight. And I look forward to this connection. This definitely will not be the last time that we talk, but I definitely want us to stay connected. You pray for me, I'll do the same for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I'm actually praying since we spoke earlier because I know it was, I could
Amen.
really tell that you were bothered by everything, but it's going to be all right. That's why it's important for us to laugh. Sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Absolutely. Like right now, while I have no idea what that little person that I was telling you about. I
She
have no idea
quiet.
what they're doing. Yes, and it's dangerous when a 4-year-old is quiet. So
So, well, I
I need to
haven't
get off
heard
of
an
here and go
alarm
find
and I
out.
haven't seen smoke. So at least your house is still intact.
That's
Now,
right.
wall
That's
may be
right.
colored. You might have a couple of crayon marks on the wall, but
Right. That's the truth.
at
Now
least it's
that
still
has happened
standing.
several times. All right. Thank you so much, Crystal P. It's a
Thank you for
blessing to have
having
connected with
me.
you. I love you.
Love you more and have a wonderful holiday, everybody. Stay safe out there, and I hope to see you in 2024 for more than the eyes can see. Don't forget to go to the website crystalpiscrazy.com, sign up for the newsletter, connect on social media, or let us know what you think, what we need to do to draw you nearer. Touch the hem of your garment so you can be made whole. We got you.
Absolutely. All right, girl. Good night. God bless
Have
you.
a good one. Love you. God bless you.
Love you too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.